Hello students, welcome to Yourpedia platform. I am your mentor Rohit Singh and today we are going to be doing NPTEL assignment questions of subject strength of materials, and today we are going to be doing two questions. First question will be question number 140 which is given on page number 80 of this booklet, and after that we are going to be discussing question number 146 which is given on page number 81 of this booklet. Okay, so let's start with our question. So here in this question, which is question number 140, they have given you a step bar or three different areas A1, A2 and A3, and they are asking you the total deformation of this bar, and along with that they have given you the modulus of elasticity of these three bars, and that is equal to 200 gigapascal. So as you can see that these forces are axial forces. So before starting this question, let me tell you what will be the deformation of a bar under the axial force, right? So let us derive an expression for that. So let's suppose there is a bar, and let's suppose the area of the cross section of this bar is A and the length of the bar is L, and under axial, and there is an axial force on this bar which is P, and you know that under the axial force there will be some elongation in the bar. So let us suppose that elongation be delta L. So delta L is the elongation in this bar under the axial force P, right? So you can see that we can easily apply the formula which is Hooke's law, and as per Hooke's law, so basically as per Hooke's law we know that stress is equal to modulus of elasticity. Stress is equal to modulus of elasticity into strain. And basically what is stress? So if we cut a area, or if we cut this cross section here, so whatever the force will be coming on this cross section divided by the cross sectional area will give you the stress. So we can see that P will be the amount of force that will be coming on this area, and the area is A, right? So we can easily say that the stress will be P divided by A. That will be the stress which is coming on this cross section XX, and along with that E is modulus of elasticity, so E remains as E, and strain, we know that strain is change in length or deformation upon original length. So change in length we have assumed as delta L, so it will be delta L divided by, and original length of the bar was capital L, so this will be capital L. From this you can easily find out the deformation or the change in length. So basically delta L will be the deformation in this bar under the axial load P, so that will be equal to P into L divided by AE. So this will be the deformation, or this will be the delta of this bar under a uniaxial load P, where A is area of cross section, E is modulus of rigidity, P is the load, and L is the length of the bar. So as you can see that this formula can only be used for a constant AE. So if the AE or the area of cross section changes, then this formula need to be applied in the same cross section area only. So as you can see in our question, there are three different areas, so we need to find the three different deformations for the areas A1, A2 and A3. So let us mark these areas as this. Let us suppose this bar is 1, and the middle bar we assume it as 2, and the third bar we assume it as 3. So let us start this question now, right? So let us start this question now. So here in this question you can see three bars of different areas A1, A2, A3. So first bar is 1, second is 2, and third we have named it as 3. So let us find what will be the forces coming on these three different bars. So let us divide these at the junction. So let us first draw A3 bar, third bar. So third bar will be having an area of A3, and the length of this bar they have already provided in the question, which is 200 meters. So the length will be 200 meters, right? After that let us cut this bar as well, and this bar is having an area of A2 and length of this bar is given to us as 400 meters, right? So length of this bar is 400 meters, and after that we have first bar, which is A1 bar. A1 is the area of this cross section, and the length of this bar is 300 meters, correct? So length of this bar will be 300 meters, right? Now let us show what will be the forces coming on these three different sections of the bar. So as you can see, in the A3 or the third bar, there is only one tensile force, which is 1500 Newton. Basically we will be going from this direction, and we will be considering forces in this direction only, right, on the right hand side of these bars. So on the right hand side of third bar, there is only single force coming, which is 1500 Newton. Is that correct? After that, let us move, and there is no other force on this bar or any in the middle of this bar. So only 1500 force, which will be the 1500 Newton force, which will be the tensile force, will be coming on the third bar. After that, let us move on to the second bar. So on the second bar, there is no force coming on its own, but there will be a 1500 Newton force, which will be the same force will be acting here also. So the effect will be here also. So this will be again a 1500 Newton bar, 1500 Newton force that will be coming on this bar, which is second bar, which is the same force. So this force will be having action of 1500 Newton on this bar as well, right? And no other force is coming except the 1500 Newton force on this second bar. After that, let us move on to the first bar. Similarly, there is no other force coming on these two bars as well as first bar. Only this force will be having the effect on this bar as well, and this will be 1500 Newton only. So on the first bar also, the axial force that will be coming on will be 1500 Newton only. So as we know that delta or the deformation is given by PL upon AE. Now we already have the value of length and area. Length and area we already knew, and now we have also calculated the force coming on these bars separately. So what we are going to do is, we are going to find the deformation of these three bars separately, and then we will add these deformation or elongation of these bars, and that will give the total elongation of this composite bar, right? So let's start our process, right? So let us take first the A3 bar. Okay, so for A3 bar, for third bar we are calculating. For third bar, the deformation will be, let us say that that deformation is equal to delta 3, and delta 3 will be equal to P3 into L3 upon A3 into E3, and we have already calculated the value of P. So this is P3, basically this is P3, this will be P2, and this will be P1. Is that correct? So we have calculated the P values or the force values or the axial force values coming on these bars. Along with that, this will be the L3, length of this bar, this will be the L2, length of second bar, and this will be the length of first bar, and areas they have already provided in the question. So area A3 is equal to 30 mm square, right? And area A2 is equal to 40 mm square. Along with that, area A1 is equal to 20 mm square. So now we have all the values. So let us substitute these values, right? So delta 3 will come out to be, P3 is, let us substitute all the values in the similar units. That is, we will take the force in Newton, length in mm, area in mm square is already given to us, and E value or the modulus of rigidity we will take in the Newton per mm square, right? So as we know that P3 is equal to 1500 Newton, so P3 will be equal to 1500, and L3 we have length of the third bar is 200 meters. So let us convert this into mm. So converting 200 meter into mm will be equal to multiplied by 10 raised to power 3 divided by A3. A3 is already given to us as 30 mm square. So A3 will be 30 mm square, and now E is given to us as 200 GPa. So let us convert this into Newton per mm square. So 200 GPa, and this will be equal to 200 into 10 raised to power 3 megapascal. So this will be 2 into 10 raised to power 5 megapascal, right? And we know that 1 megapascal is equal to 10 Newton per mm square, 1 Newton per mm square. So similarly, we can say that this will be equal to, E will be equal to 10 raised to power 5 Newton per mm square. Now we have the same units in the E as well. So E will be equal to 2 into 10 raised to power 5 Newton per mm square, and this whole deformation will come in mm only. So on solving this, you will get the value of delta 3 as 50 mm. So the deformation in the third bar we will get as 50 mm. Similarly, we can calculate the deformation in the second and first bar as well. So let us calculate for second bar. So for bar 2, delta 2 will be equal to P2 L2 upon A2 into E2, and P2 we have already calculated this as, so P2 is equal to 1500 Newton, L2 is 400 meter, and E is same as 2 into 10 raised to power 5, and area is 40. So let us substitute these values. You will get P is again 1500 Newton into length is 400 meter, I suppose. Length is 400 meter. So let us convert this into mm. So 400 into 10 raised to power 3 will be in mm of length, and area is given to us as 40, and E is, we have actually calculated it as 2 into 10 raised to power 5. From this you will get the value of delta 2 or the deformation in second bar as, on solving this you will get the deformation as 75 mm. Similarly, we can also calculate for first bar, right? So for first bar, delta 1 will be equal to P1 L1 upon A1 into E1, and P1, so P1 is 1500 Newton, area is 20, and length is 300 meter. So let us substitute these values. So P is 1500 Newton into length is 300 meter, that will be 300 into 10 raised to power 3 mm, upon area is 20 mm square. So area will be 20 mm square into E will be, modulus of rigidity will be 2 into 10 raised to power 5. So this will be 2 into 10 raised to power 5 Newton per mm square. On solving this, you will get the value of delta 1 is equal to, so delta 1 will be coming out as 112.5 mm. So now we have calculated the elongations of these three bars, that is first, second and third bar individually, and they are asking you the total elongation in the question. Basically total elongation, total deformation of this bar was asked in the question. So total deformation will be the summation of these three elongations. So total deformation will be equal to total deformation of this composite bar will be equal to delta 1 plus delta 2 plus delta 3, and these are equal to, so delta 1 is coming out as 112.5 plus delta 2 is 75, and delta 3 is coming out as 50. So this whole deformation, total deformation will be coming out as 237.5 mm, right? So total deformation will be 237.5. So that will be equal to, so total deformation delta will be equal to, let us convert this into meter. So 0.2375 meter will be the total deformation of this composite bar. Now let us come back to our options. So they have given you three options. A is 0.196 mm, so this is not correct. B is 1.675 mm, this is not correct, and C is 0.237 meter. So this option is correct. So the correct answer to this question number 140 will be option C, which is 0.237 meter. Right? So let's move on to our next question, which will be question number 146. So in this question 146, they are asking you, if a material expands freely due to heating, it will develop. Basically, whenever there is a heating, so the because of thermal expansion of that material, there will be elongation in the material. So what happens is, so let us suppose this was a material and this was placed on a frictionless surface, right? This was frictionless surface, and there is no restriction to the length of this material, right? So on heating, if temperature increases, so we know that if temperature increases, length will be increasing, and change in length will be given by original length into alpha into temperature rise. This will be the change in length, right? But what happens is, if this material is free, then this can expand in both the directions, and there will not be any stresses. Basically, stress will develop whenever there is resistance to the deformation. Always remember that stress develops only due to, stress will be only due to resistance to deformation. Whatever be that resistance to deformation, that will be equal to the stresses developed in that bar. So since there is no resistance to the movement or the deformation of this bar, since they have already told you that it can expand freely, so the bar can expand freely. Since the bar can expand freely, so there won't be any resistance to the deformation of this bar. Let us suppose this was delta L, but there is no resistance to this bar, this elongation of this bar, right? So there won't be any thermal stresses. When the thermal stresses will come, when there will be resistance to this deformation. So if we have, in the second case, let us say that this same bar is, the same bar we are taking, and now we have provided a fixed support on both the ends, and now the temperature increases, and here when the temperature increases, you know that the length will try to increase, or the deformation will be there in the bar, and this deformation will be resisted by the fixed supports at the ends of the bar. Hence, because of that, the thermal stresses will come into play. So in that case, the thermal stresses will develop. But when the bar is free, so this was free bar, this bar can expand freely, and hence there won't be any thermal stresses. So in this case, no thermal stresses will develop. So there won't be any, no thermal stresses will develop due to the rise in temperature of this bar. So basically this bar can expand freely, there won't be any thermal stresses coming in the bar. Therefore the correct answer to this question 146 will become, which is D, there won't be any stresses in this bar. So the correct answer to the question number 146 will become no stresses. Always remember that whenever there is increase in temperature, there might be a case that there won't be any thermal stresses. Thermal stresses will only be occurring or coming only when there is resistance to the deformation is there in the bar, right? So I hope you understood these two questions. For more interesting questions, keep watching, keep preparing. Have a nice day.